Yellowstone's 3 returning stars confirm the biggest problem with Taylor Sheridan's spin-offs. Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone franchise has confirmed that 3 leading stars are returning for the follow-up to the second part of the show's final season. But while the situation is somewhat reassuring for fans, it also underscores the biggest problem for the saga's future. Despite its undeniable popularity, Yellowstone's finale has been beset with controversy. The combination of a cliffhanger ending and behind-the-scenes turmoil has made the future feel less certain than ever. The recent casting development alleviates some of these concerns, but inadvertently confirms the series' biggest problems in the process. Even without the issues affecting the cast, Yellowstone Season 5 has had a complicated journey. As a result of writer strikes, the season was split into 2 parts, with Part 1 ending on a dramatic note as the conflict between Beth and Jamie reached boiling point. This cast the whole franchise's ambitious future into doubt, especially with the news that Kevin Costner was leaving Yellowstone due to a combination of scheduling conflicts and creative differences. News that 3 main stars are returning for the Yellowstone Season 5 sequel provides some consistency, but also demonstrates a problem with the franchise. After a reported pay dispute, Cole Hauser, Kelly Rayleigh, and Luke Grimes are all reportedly set to return for the Yellowstone sequel series. Tentatively titled 2024, the Yellowstone follow-up story is largely shrouded in mystery. However, the involvement of the 3 original stars seemingly confirms that Rip Wheeler, Beth Dutton, and Case Dutton will all play prominent roles in whatever story Taylor Sheridan wishes to tell. Initially, much of the excitement around Yellowstone's prospective future revolved around the potential involvement of superstars Michelle Pfeiffer and Matthew McConaughey. While neither is yet confirmed to be joining the series, the return of the original Yellowstone trio reveals an uncomfortable truth for the rest of the franchise. Namely, that whatever direction the story goes, it's the original Yellowstone characters that remain the biggest draw. On one level, this situation is unsurprising. After 5 seasons in their company, audiences have become incredibly invested in the trials and tribulations of the Duttons, much more than any of the characters that have been introduced in single-season spin-offs. However, while this is an inevitable consequence of longevity and success, it also creates a problem for the series' future as it moves beyond the original Yellowstone. Especially given that the show's main focal point, Kevin Costner's John Dutton, will not be returning for the sequel. By bringing back Rip, Beth, and Case, Yellowstone's sequel has confirmed the original Dutton's importance to the show's story. Although this is unsurprising, it also risks accentuating the inevitable void that will be left by Kevin Costner's Yellowstone departure. The exact reasons behind Costner's leaving remain unclear. While Costner's lawyer refuted claims that he was unwilling to commit to an extensive filming schedule for Yellowstone Season 5, commenting, "The idea that Kevin was only willing to work 1 week on the second half of Season 5 of Yellowstone is an absolute lie." Other reports have been less unequivocal. Sheridan himself said, via Terre, "Whatever the real reason, the fact that Yellowstone is still so clearly dependent on the Dutton story to provide its narrative impetus, yet has lost the most compelling Dutton of them all, leaves its future uncertain." Up until now, Rip, Beth, and Case's stories have all largely revolved around how they relate to the austere family patriarch. With him gone, it remains to be seen how interesting their stories are in isolation. Ultimately, the 3 characters' return confirms that Yellowstone is in an uncomfortable catch-22. On the one hand, it needs to stick with the modern Dutton family, since they are the characters that audiences are most familiar with and therefore provide the best chance of continued success. On the other, the more Yellowstone doubles down on this generation of Duttons, The more disputes like the one that caused Costner's departure, and the paid issue for Hauser, Rayleigh, and Grimes hold the potential to derail the show. Centering its spin-offs on familiar characters is a risk-reward strategy that may undo the whole franchise. Unlike some long-running dramas, Yellowstone was ambitious from the outset when it came to establishing spin-off series. Shows like 1883, 1923, the as-yet unreleased 6666 all highlight how expansive the Yellowstone universe is, both with contemporary stories and adventures set in the past. However, while both 1883 and 1923 have had real critical success, there's an inevitable sense that they only exist in service to the original Yellowstone show. Although 1923 is confirmed to be getting a second series, the impression remains that the show and its predecessor, 1883, are designed purely to augment the existing Dutton myth. Such is the overbearing presence and personality of characters like John Dutton i.e., Rip Wheeler, and Beth Dutton that it's hard for other members of the family, even ones played by the likes of Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, to make their stories seem compelling. The many Yellowstone spin-offs have also suffered from the problem affecting many prequels, in that, since the viewers already know the destination, the drama loses its impact. This explains why the next Yellowstone spin-off will be set after the events of the main show come to an end. Continuing the stories of Rip, Beth, and Case at least promises to bring some more uncertainty into the franchise. While the specifics of 1883 and 1923 stories were unknown, the Dutton situation in the present meant that any existential threat to the Ranchin family as entities was substantially diminished, whatever the other merits of the shows. Even though Kevin Costner's absence creates many other problems, it will at least be fascinating to see how the family copes without him, a genuine unknown for viewers. The problems facing Yellowstone create quite a conundrum. However, there is a way for the show to move beyond its original characters and still create compelling drama for audiences. If the new spin-off can entice a star like Matthew McConaughey to join its roster, then the series will have a new focal point that relieves some of the pressure on the returning trio. Simultaneously, a high-profile John Dutton replacement like McConaughey will also necessitate a change in storyline, with the Duttons playing a less central role in the narrative. The combination of these two factors could create a situation where Yellowstone's future story gradually morphs into something where the Duttons remain an important presence, but are not the epicenter of the drama. This would allow future spin-offs and stories to incorporate elements that aren't beholden to a single family, making its approach more flexible. For now, the emphasis on the return of Hauser, Rayleigh, and Grimes creates some additional problems for Yellowstone's future. However, it's also possible to see a pathway for the show to move forward.